Welcome to Alive and Well, the podcast for the new era of high achievers. You're done burning out, and you're ready to lead, work, and live in a rhythm that honors both your brilliance and your body. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a trial attorney turned nervous system strategist, and I've lived the burnout story. I know what it's like to chase your goals at the expense of your well-being. And I also know it doesn't have to be that way. Here, we're redefining success. It's where productivity feels peaceful, boundaries feel like freedom, and energy comes from within. Each week, I'll share practical tools for nervous system regulation, time mastery, and somatic strategies so you can show up with clarity, calm, and confidence in every part of your life. Because you, my friend, were given a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So here's to life and living it fully. This is the path to feeling alive and well. Let's dive in. Hey, it's Michelle here. Welcome to Alive and Well. On the show today, I want to talk about work-life balance. I think we've all heard it said 1,000 times, like, I just need better balance. I need to figure out how to balance all these different things and demands and my calendar and all this stuff. Maybe you've had a friend who's said it. Maybe you've hired someone or taken a course about managing your time better. So it feels like you have more work-life balance. I don't know. Maybe you've even said it to yourself while you're going through your planner, what have you. But here's the thing. Everyone keeps telling us to quote unquote find balance, and almost no one actually shows us how. Because the reality is that, well, one, I don't think balance even really exists, right? And it certainly isn't about a perfect calendar. It's not about a morning routine. It's not about meditating more. It's not about, taking a 3-day weekend once a month, or I don't know, whatever it is that makes us feel organized in the short term. Balance is actually about learning a new operating system. So what I want to do today is I kind of want to walk you through what that operating system can actually look like. And I want to share 3 truths, if you will, about work-life balance that most people don't talk about, or I don't think it's talked about nearly enough. And these are truths that have just completely shifted how I live, how I lead, and I know they're going to make a difference for you too. Because the reality is that I know you don't need another productivity hack. So many people come to me and they think they need new productivity hacks. They need new systems for time management and home management and all these other things. And that's not actually what we need first. First, we need to learn how to manage our nervous system, and then we can build on that. So let's kind of go through and talk about these 3 pillars that can really create lasting change for you. And again, as always, this isn't about doing these things perfectly, nailing it every time, right? When I practice these 3 things, when I keep coming back to them consistently, that's when everything changes. It's not when I do it perfectly, but when I'm consistent, my patience, my energy, my presence with my kids, my ability to handle stress, my capacity, my bandwidth, everything changes. Before we jump into them though, I want to ask you guys a favor. If you have not yet left Alive and Well a 5-star rating or a short review, if the show has taught you anything, if it's helped you in any way, if you've ever shared an episode, thank you. I'm just so grateful that you're here. And it's truly one of the greatest ways you can thank me for the show, if it's made a difference for you, is by leaving a 5-star rating and a short review. One, I love to hear your feedback. But second, it's how we get this information out to other women who are feeling like we've been feeling, and who could also use these tools. So if you could take a few seconds today to leave a 5-star rating and a short review, I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's jump into this. Truth numero 1. The first truth is that work-life balance starts with your nervous system. Shocker, I know. Most of us think that balance is about getting more efficient, waking up earlier, closing, our laptop down at a certain time, organizing our calendar better, multitasking, less scrolling, Pomodoro timer, whatever, right? But this is a big one. If your nervous system is dysregulated, I don't care how perfect your schedule is. Neither does your brain or your body, frankly, because how many of us have bought all like the schedules and have the best intentions and the new planners and all the things, and then they just like collect dust after, week 2, and we still feel overwhelmed and we still feel reactive and we still feel behind. And here's why. Your nervous system is constantly scanning your environment, asking one question and one question only. Am I safe? Right? Its number one priority is always to keep us safe. Am I supported, right? Can I rest here? And when your body doesn't feel safe, it flips into survival mode, fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And in those states, your brain literally shifts gears, you guys. So when you're in fight mode, you're irritable, you're snappy, everything feels urgent, and you're annoyed, and you feel like there's not enough help and there's not enough time. When you're in flight mode, you're overthinking, you're overplanning, you're overscheduling, you're overdoing. When you're in freeze, you're procrastinating, right? Or maybe you're spacing out, or you're checking out, or you're in brain fog, or it feels like you can't get anything done. You can't focus. You just lose yourself scrolling your phone while all the things you have to do just pile up. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And the science here is so fascinating, because when you're in a survival state, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, you are when you're in that survival mode, your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of our brain that helps us plan and focus and regulate emotions, that part of our brain goes offline. So if this is a light bulb moment for you and you're like, oh man, this makes so much sense. If I'm in fight, freeze, or fawn, I can't get stuff done because that part of my brain that helps me plan, focus, and regulate my emotions, offline. Instead, what's online? Our amygdala, the threat detector, it takes over. And that means we're not really leading our life, right? We're not really consciously choosing and then consciously going through each day with intention and strategy. We're not actually leading our life then. We're actually reacting to it. So if you want to feel more balanced, whatever that looks like for you, it really doesn't start with your calendar, you guys. It has to start with your nervous system state. And there's really so many ways to do that. But maybe it's something really simple, right? Maybe it's man, I'm going to make sure that there's some margin between my meetings. So I'm not in go mode all day long. And in that margin, I'm going to pause. I'm going to check in with my body. If I need to go to the bathroom, I'm going to go to the bathroom. If I need to grab a snack, I'm going to grab a snack, and I'm going to move, right? Maybe it's 30 seconds where I'm just going to stand up and shake out some tension I've been holding. Maybe it's setting up a wind down routine before bed. So you are not expecting your body to miraculously just be able to shift gears and slow down when you've been going all day long, and incorporating some sort of routine so that your body starts to understand how to shift from a sympathetic fight or flight, go mode into a deep parasympathetic state and feel safe enough to do so you can actually sleep well and your body can actually recover, right? Maybe it looks like in the morning you're going to move your body or get some morning light into your eyes to help regulate your circadian rhythm. These aren't just nice to have you guys. These are nervous system resets that really help you shift back into rest and digest, where any sense of balance feels possible. And when I started regulating my nervous system first, before I worried about my calendar, my planner, my tasks, my time management, my home management, when my nervous system came first, I stopped feeling like I was drowning every day. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, the second truth about work-life balance is that balance isn't actually about time management. It's about time leadership. So I used to just feel like there wasn't enough time, right? I needed more hours in the day to get everything done that I thought had to be done. And maybe you've said that too, right? There's just not enough hours in the day. But here's the truth. We can't actually manage time.
right? Like we are not the managers of time. There are 24 hours in a day, regardless of what time I wake up. There are 24 hours in a day, regardless of whether I, do groceries today or not. I can't manage time, but I can lead my time, right? I can manage my energy. I can manage my focus. And when we're trying to manage time, we're just constantly reacting, right? It's just futile. We're responding to every email and every ping and every hey, you got a minute? And we're just chasing time and it's leaking everywhere. But when we're leading time, that means we decide what gets our energy first, right? We set the agenda. We block space for what matters most before everyone else's priorities hijack our calendar. And the science behind this, you guys, is that every decision we make costs energy. You've probably heard decision fatigue. When you start your day trying to manage time and in reactive mode, you're checking your emails first thing in the morning, you're scrolling through Slack, you're actually burning up glucose before you've even touched your most important work. But when you do the opposite, when you block time for deep focus on the things that actually move the needle, maybe that's a work project, maybe that's time with your kids, maybe that's a workout, you're aligning your schedule with your values. And that's the magic sauce. That's when balance starts to feel real. So for me, this has looked like a lot of different things. It's looked like 90 minutes of deep work in the morning without email, without my phone, without distractions, just me and the most important task of the day. Sometimes it's buffer time, right, between commitments. There have been weeks where I'm in back-to-back coaching sessions, podcast recording, burnout recovery blueprint, my new program, Rewire, that's for BRB graduates, back-to-back. Not anymore. There is buffer time between everything in my calendar because I do not want to train my brain to constantly be rushing from one thing to the next, stuck in this survival mode. And I'll be honest, you guys, when I don't lead my time, I feel it, right? It's not just in the urgency, but I'm impatient. I'm annoyed. I'm frustrated because I feel like I'm not getting enough done. I'm distracted and I'm just constantly behind. But when I actually take the time to be intentional about leading my time, then I feel steady, right? I feel like I'm steering the ship instead of just being tossed around in the chaos of the storm. So just ask yourself this week, or maybe just today, what's one way that you can stop trying to manage time and really start leading time today with intention? That's the second one. And then the third truth, the last truth I want to talk about today, as it relates to work-life balance, is that if we want to experience any sort of balance, you guys, it really requires rewiring our beliefs. And this is kind of the sneaky part of this. It's our mindset, because you can regulate your nervous system, you can block off your calendar. But if you are still running old paradigms, right? If your beliefs are still stuck in the past, if you're running old programs, I think what's going to happen is that you're probably going to start sabotaging yourself. And I know for me, my default belief in past me was that my value, my worth, my so much of that was tied up in how productive I was, right? How much I could do. So if I wasn't working, if I wasn't cleaning or fixing or producing or helping someone, I felt guilty, to be honest. I felt like I was wasting time. I had a really hard time resting. That felt like a waste. That felt uncomfortable. It felt indulgent. It felt selfish. Boundaries for so much of my adult life felt really, and before probably, felt rude or disrespectful, right? Saying no felt like I was not doing my part or letting people down. And maybe you've had similar thoughts, right? Maybe you've had thoughts like, man, I have to keep my email open or my Slack open because if I don't answer right away, texts, people are going to think I'm not reliable, right? Or that I'm mad at them, or I don't know, whatever comes up, right? If I take a break, I'm going to fall behind. If I say no, maybe I'm they're not going to ask me again, and we're stuck in this scarcity loop. These beliefs are all rooted in survival patterns. And I think for so many of us, they go all the way back to childhood, learning how to be the good girl, learning how to be the achiever, learning how to be the helper, right? That was how we earned love and safety. But the truth is that we can't create balance if we're still running those old operating systems. We have to rewire our beliefs. And the neuroscience shows us that beliefs are just well-practiced neural pathways, right? Our beliefs are just well-practiced neural pathways, and neuroplasticity means they can be changed. But what does it take? It takes awareness. It takes repetition and consistency and compassion. So for me, I had to rewire a lot of these old beliefs. I had to take, account and be honest with myself and catch myself in those old scripts and start practicing new ones. So instead of running this old programming of like, hey, I'm valuable and I'm doing something good when I'm producing, I caught it. I had to catch it, interrupt and replace, right? Interrupt and replace it with, my worth is inherent. I know who I am and whose I am. It has nothing to do with what I accomplish today, right? Instead of feeling like I have to say yes to everything, I just started interrupting that thought and replacing it with the truth, which is like, hey, I actually get to choose where my energy goes. I do not have to be obliged to every opportunity or every request that comes my way. And then around rest, that was a big one for me too. Like I really had to notice where I was avoiding rest, where rest felt like it wasn't the wise choice. And I had to really rewire how I thought about that, and switch it and see rest as a superpower, rest as a non-negotiable, rest as the way I was going to heal anything. That rest was like a slingshot, right? It felt sometimes like I was kind of pulling back, but the reality is that once I rested and let go, rest made me more efficient. It made me more effective. It made me more creative. It made me more present. And ultimately, it made me feel more fulfilled because the reality is that working from a place of rest, I just get more done. So it's not about like denying what's coming up. It's not about toxic positivity and talking us into it. It's about building new neural pathways that actually support balance instead of sabotaging it. So there it is. Those are the 3 truths I want to share with you guys about work-life balance today. You have to regulate your nervous system first, and then you have to lead your time, not just manage it. And then you really have to rewire your beliefs. And when you put these 3 things together, that's when balance stops being the type of balance where it's like the scales have to be perfectly balanced, but more the type of balance that like a tightrope walker does, right? Like sometimes they're leaning a little to the left, sometimes they're leaning a little to the right, but they keep going. And that's the kind of balance we're shooting for, right? Not this like elusive idea of perfection, but really the ability to pivot and adjust and adapt. That's our lived reality. Because this is not about perfection. If I don't hit these 3 every day, it's not the end of the world. You won't either. But even small shifts, margin between your meetings, right? Blocking an hour for deep work, noticing one limiting belief can really start to change everything. So work-life balance isn't something that's just going to land in our lap. It's not just something we're going to find. It's not just like something we're going to figure out one day. We're going to wake up and be like, oh my gosh, I found the key to work-life balance. It's something we build, you guys, day by day, habit by habit, right? Belief by belief. So thanks so much for being here today. If this resonated in any way, maybe share it with a friend who could also benefit from it. If you haven't yet, make sure you're subscribed to Live and Well so you don't miss the next episode. But man, even before you go, maybe just like, I'd love for you to think about which of these 3 truths, your nervous system, time, or beliefs, feels like your biggest growth edge right now, and make some progress on that this week. All right. I love y'all so much. I'll talk to you guys soon.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
Thanks for listening to Alive and Well. If today's episode resonated, would you do me a favor? Take 30 seconds and leave a 5-star rating and short review. It really helps to get this show out to other people just like you who could also use the information in this podcast. And if you're ready to take the next step in regulating your nervous system, download my free Nervous System Reset Guide. It's linked right in the show notes. Inside, you'll find simple, body-based practices to help you feel more clear, calm, and connected starting today. Make sure you're following the show so you don't miss out on what's coming next, because you were made to thrive. Fully alive, fully present, and fully well. I'll see you soon.